Ah, yes, the old stealth squig bomb. This time, though, it's being used as the sword in this 2v2 with the dwarves in this absolutely cursed alliance of grudges here. The dwarves, of course, are the shield. So let's take a look at this replay from SladeX, who is, of course, taking the green tide. He's got his squig horde here, signature move to cast Night Shroud on a big blob of various squig units. He's got the squig lord, the Acid Burpla, plus another Colossal Squig, couple of Manglers. We've got Squig Herds in here as well. And he is also protecting, at least attempting to protect, the back line of the Dwarfs here with some Boar Boys. And is that basically it? Yeah, there's a Night Goblin Shaman who casted that Night Shroud. And the Dwarfs that are allied here have a couple cannons, which immediately got rushed by some Crowmen. Longbeard's trying to protect. Not going to be able to probably protect those cannons. Probably a little bit too slow, but anyway. Thunderers, we've got some Grudge Rakers here. Very cool. Longdrong Slayer Pirates. Some regular Slayers. Ungrim Iron Fists, or Giant Slayers even. Ekron's Miners, Hammerers. Quite the grab bag of Dwarven Infantry. And should be in for a very good time up against them. Cathay and the Chaos Dwarfs. Very interesting. What, Fire Alliance? Like the Fire Nation basically attacking here. We've got Celestial General plus Sorcerer Prophet of Fire leading both armies. Lamasu up in the sky, Death Shrieker over on the far side, some Bull Centaurs, Magma Cannon as well, Chaos Dwarf Warriors, Blazing Beards. Got some more Dwarf Warriors over here. Some Cathay protecting the center. A bunch of Peasant Long Spears up front for Cathay. Some Crane Guns to back them up. Jade Lancers. Oh yeah, there's more Green Tide back here. Very sneaky Goblins hidden in the rear ambush. 8-Peak Loons, Warlords Boys, Rusty Errors, all the regiments renowned. We got Mangy Marauders. We've already got a couple of Squigs, Secret Agent right into the back line. Going to be collapsing a couple of long rifles. Well, this version of long rifles, right? The Crane Guns get rushed down pretty quickly here, and this is honestly a pretty good trade in terms of value. The Durkat Squigs are a little bit expensive to be thrown into an engagement like this. They're going to get countercharged by Jade Lancers and shut down pretty hard, but right about this time, the other flank is collapsing. That's right, the Squig Bomb tactical strike here. Absolutely massive horde of squigs bypassing the flank and going to be running in. Yeah, just plowing straight through basically right into these nice expensive guns. Meanwhile, Crowmen are starting to be pushed off a little bit. Thunderers are going to be much sturdier defense, have much sturdier defenses rather, going to be much sturdier on the defense against these Crowmen. And the Night Goblin War Boss and Orc Boar Boy should be enough to clean things up there. Magma Cannon is raining in, though, on some of these Dwarf units as they advance and kind of hold the line against the counterattack from the Fire Nation. Let's get back over to some beautiful Squig action. Blasting charges through the center as the Ekron's Miners get close. And Squigs just sending men and dwarves flying. Absolutely beautiful. Squigs really are just pure savage joy in physical form, and I do love them for that. This Colossal Squig here, the Acid Burpa's got his sights set on the Magma Cannon, gonna collapse there, right in time for a Wah to be popped, so all the Green Tide here mixed into this engagement. Even the, the Rusty Errors fighting. It's too bad they don't actually have Armor Sundering in melee. They would probably be doing some pretty good damage to the Cathay Fireborn right now, but there it is. Also the Dwarfs pushing up as well. Ungrim with his Slayers fixing in this front line. The Giant Slayers in particular are going to be really handy here against the Bull Centaurs and the Sorcerer Prophet. Let's see if the Fire Nation can rally. Right now they've got quite a few forces on the run, but they've got some starting to stabilize here. We've got some Crane Guns coming back from route, and some more Cathay units probably will come back from route in this area. The mobility, a lot of it was sacrificed in that initial big push, and so Green Tide can't really pursue these routing units very well. But Mangy Marauders also try not to get caught here as the Acid Burpa moves in. Lamasu wants some. Come in for a little single entity combat over here, as it looks like the Sorcerer Prophet might be trying to do the same against the War Boss out there in the background. Not a great engagement for the War Boss, but let's see if Ungrim can come in and counterattack. Right now he is absolutely just kicking the teeth of that Alchemist. Very brutal stuff, but Slade wisely gonna path his War Boss through, get a nice little dodge. We see a piercing bolts of burning falling from the sky. It's gonna force the Slayers to move. Nice dodge from the Dwarf player there. Pretty long wind-up time on that, so that's gonna get basically 0 damage. But a nice breath attack does hit the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. I actually forgot these guys had even existed. I'm surprised they don't actually have fire resistance as well. I mean, they have fire damage, but I don't know. Maybe that's something that a Creative Assembly could add. I haven't thought about that unit in a very long time, honestly. But anyway, need to showcase some more Dwarf content. If there's any Dwarf mains out there, by all means, feel free to drop by the Discord, drop me some replays. Always appreciate it. This time, Slade teaming up with the Dwarfs is proving pretty fruitful so far. The Grudge Alliance is a little bit ahead on the balance of power, and it looks like the Sorcerer Prophet is facing the Goblin with some support here, although it's still going to be like 2v1, potentially single entity fight, even 1v1. Goblin War Boss does not want to take that fight against that big, bad Taurus. But, yeah, Giant Slayers charging into the Blazing Beards here. Not a unit they're exactly designed to kill, but we've got this one Slayer Pirate also, just absolute Chad with his pistol firing into the back. Well, there go the Grudge Rakers. I think they might have just killed him. Nope, he's still going. Pretty brutal stuff. Oh, wow. Those Grudge Rakers are very cool, honestly. Doing a lot of damage right now. They're going to stand in the pocket and deliver as they get hit by that piercing bolts of burning. Celestial General. Trying to move through. He's got some pretty good armor-piercing damage. Decent combat stats overall, but let's see what he decides to do on this final fight. Looks like all the single entities just going to jump in on this center engagement right on the conquest objective. And, yeah. Ungrim trying to hold against all the might here, as the Goblin is going to cut and run, I would imagine, as Goblins generally do. Yeah, very Goblin behavior here. But at least the Boar Boys can be thrown in as support. There are a handful more Goblin units still scattered around as well. And like Ekron's Miners, or his Dragonfire Pass, there's definitely some pretty good infantry support here. But Ungrim is a Chad enough that he can kind of, as long as he has any support, he can probably just win this single entity fight. Yeah, and it's technically a 3v1 right now, with the Celestial Generals being more of a liability than anything. Might have eaten a couple of attacks at the very least, but another piercing bolts of burning. This Fire Alliance is not going quietly, but maybe facing army losses here. Yeah, the Giant Slayers have been really nice support in here as well. Back there Unbreakable, even if there's like 5-6 unit models in contact, right? They'll be doing some really good damage to these single entities. Hammerers pounding away. Lamasu goes down. The Slayer King reigns supreme. Goblins nowhere to be found. Man, Warhammer's so awesome. And I think that's army losses. Yeah, technically the Unbreakable Cathay will continue fighting for a little bit longer. We'll fast forward through their inevitable demise, as the stout, sturdy dwarves come in for the cleanup, and it's a victory for the Grudge Alliance. Fun one for sure. Really fun 2v2, and interesting combination, I have to say. The dwarves not necessarily being passive in defense, but just more defensive in their nature. Kind of being the shield here, the anvil, if you will, with the hammer of the squigs, basically, right? That massive flank overload just coming through, disrupting that whole formation, doing tons of damage to everything. Yeah, very fun stuff for sure. Slade's a big fan of that hidden squig board, and it's an interesting tactic for sure. A lot of people, especially if you don't know it's coming or not expecting it, can definitely be a fun time for Slade, at least. And I don't know if I've ever actually seen him use it in a 2v2, so that's very interesting. And the combination, like I said, with the Dwarfs is very mechanically quite interesting. Wow, Ekron's Miners just feasting on some value there with their blasting charges. The Giant Slayers as well, getting some incredible value there. Thunderers doing a really nice job. Cannons killed early on, but ultimately, yeah, for the Green Tide, basically all the squig units are going to pay for themselves. And And then, yeah, honestly, these little RORs as well, the 8-peak loons, the Warlords boys, just have so many excellent cheap regiments of renown on the Greenskins roster, and it really, really benefits them overall. Yeah, from the Fire, excuse me, Fire Alliance side, Sorcerer Prophet, very, very strong mount, very strong lore of magic with fire. Interesting, I mean, Piercing Bolts of Burning, like I said, with long wind-up time. You saw there it miss, but when it does hit, it does so much damage. And kind of even use it against single entities as well, so good stuff. Blazing Beards also managed to get some pretty good value there. Yeah, the Chaos Dwarf player was able to do some pretty good damage, but the 2 artillery getting shut down by the squigs was tough. And kind of the same thing for Cathay. Like these long-ranged, high-damage units getting shut down so early on definitely put them on the back foot. And then ultimately, like, the Peasants and Cathay Infantry in general can trade up really well when they're juiced up with Harmony. But part of it, because the ranged units got shut down so quickly, they weren't getting any benefit from that. Celestial General was also kind of running around doing not a lot for his cost, so ultimately that didn't really give a lot of benefit for the Fire Nation, but definitely a fun one for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.